Hi everyone! In this video, we're going to talk about Rizal's change in perspective on the Spanish rule. First, we have pre-colonial Philippines, Rizal's annotations of Morga. So now we're going to define some terms. Annotation. Annotation is the act of adding notes or comments to something. A note added to a text, book, drawing, etc. as a comment or explanation according to Merriam-Webster. And of course, it is the act of annotating. So, ang annotation, kanang example na atay mabasa nga text in ana nga pwede ta magdugang og comment or something nga ato siyang i-explain. So, that is what we call annotation. Successos de las Islas Filipinas means the Philippine island in English and was named of ang nagpangalan ani is si King Philip II nga taga Spain. One of the most works of the colonization of Spain. So, ang gawork ani niya is si Antonio de Morga sa Mexico last 1609. Successos means the work of honest observer, a versatile bureaucrat who know the working of the administration from the inside. So now, atong hisgutan si Antonio de Morga. So, Antonio de Morga, gipanganak siya November 29, 1559 sa Seville, Spain. Namatay siya July 21, 1636. So, iyang edad is 76 sa Quito, Ecuador. He was a Spanish lawyer and a government official during 17th century. So he was historian and anthropologist and the author of Successos de las Islas Filipinas, of course. Then he wrote the first lay formal history of the Philippines conquest by Spain, and he is a doctorate in canon and civil law. His history was first published in English in 1868. So, now about sa Successos de las Islas Filipinas naman. So, this is one of the most or one of the important works of the Philippines about the colonization of Spain. Nag-publish ni siya ni Antonio de Morga in Mexico last April 7, 1609. So, nag-explain siya about sa political, social, and economical aspects of the colonizer and the colonized country. Ayan, so this is the book na ano siya, based on experience and observation of Antonio de Morga. Di ba ganina, nag-ingon nga, ang successos means, ano siya, parang based on observation. So, mao din siya, ang title niya nga naa siya Successos de las Islas Filipinas, kay kini siya nga book is gisulat man ni siya based sa observation o based po siya sa experience ni Antonio de Morga. And syempre, annotated by Jose Rizal with a prologue by Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt. So, di ba annotated, annotation means kanang murag hatag kag og meaning or murag siyag something ay mo siyang gi-explain. So, ang nag-explain or nag-inana is si Rizal. So, the first English translation na-publish siya sa London in 1868. Then, another na pod nga English translation niya by Blair and Robertson was published sa Cleveland in 1907. So, syempre, gisulat man siya, so naa siya purpose. Ang purpose ani ni Morga, ining gisulat, para he could chronicle the deeds achieved by our Spaniards, the discovery, the conquest, and the conversion of the Filipinas island, as well as various fortunes that they have from time to time in the great kingdoms and among the pagan people surrounding. And ito, what led Jose Rizal to Marga's work? So Rizal was an earnest seeker of truth, and this marked him as historian. He had a burning desire to know exactly the condition of the Philippines when the Spaniards came ashore to the islands. His theory was that the country was economically self-sufficient and prosperous. Entertained the idea that it had a lively and vigorous community. He believed the conquest of the Spaniards contributed in part to the decline of Philippines' rich traditions and culture. And he then decided to undertake the annotation of Antonio de Morga's Successos de las Islas Filipinas. So, siya gid naka-decide nga nana. Then his personal friendship with Ferdinand Blumentritt provided the inspiration for doing a new edition of Morga's Successos. Devoting 4 months research and writing and almost a year to get his manuscript published in Paris in January 1890. Why si Rizal choose Morga's work? Ngano gipilit ni Rizal? Rizal felt Morga to be more objective than the religious writers whose accounts included many miracle stories. So Morga, compared to religious chroniclers, was more sympathetic to the Indios. And finally, Morga was not only an eyewitness but a major actor in the events he narrates. Di ba kanina na-mention siya nga, si Morga, gisulat niya ni nga book based on his experience and observation. So, that's why diri giingon nga, dili lang siya eyewitness but major actor. Kay, ang iyang ginasulat is about man sa iyang experience sa event na sa iyang life pa jud. Then Rizal's second consideration for the choice of Morga was that it was the only civil as opposed to religious or ecclesiastical history of the Philippines written during colonial period. And the next consideration for the choice of Morga was that it appeared more sympathetic, at least in parts, to the Indios, in contrast to the friar accounts, many of which were biased or downright racist in tone and interpretation. And the last consideration was that Morga was an eyewitness and therefore a primary source in the Philippines and its people at the point of first contact with Spain. Rizal found giunsa naman pud niya pag choose ang Morga's work. So Rizal found the book while he was in London. So naa siya sa London at that time at the British Museum's reading room. So he hand copied the whole 351 pages sa book and annotated every chapter of it. So by chapter ang iyang pag-annotate. It was the first historical work on the Philippines by a Filipino. It is the first history written from the point of view of the colonized, not colonizer. Okay? Not colonizer. So these are the purpose why Rizal nga iyang gi-annotate ang work ni Morga. First is to awaken the consciousness of the Filipinos regarding their glorious ways of the past. And of course, to correct what has been distorted about the Philippines due to Spanish conquest. And to prove that the Filipinos are civilized. Okay, civilized or advanced even before the coming of the Spaniards. And mao ni siya ang annotation ni Rizal. So first, and the people of the Philippines had a culture on their own before the coming of the Spaniards. So before pa lang niabot ang Spaniards, ang Filipino naa na jud siya culture. Then the people of the pre-Hispanic Philippines is advanced, has high literacy rate, self-sufficient, and has smooth foreign relations. Okay, gets naman siya. Then Filipinos were decimated, demoralized, exploited, and ruined by the Spanish colonization. The present state of the Philippines was not necessarily superior to its past. In his annotation, he included the colonial history of the Philippines being in prolonged periods of suffering that many people have been subjected to. The Philippines was depopulated, impoverished, and retorted, astounded by metaphor with no confidence in their past, still without faith in her present, and without faltering hope in the future. So, according to Jose Rizal, to foretell the destiny of a nation, it is necessary to open the books that tell of her past. So, dito na tayo nagtatapos and that's all maraming salamat po sa panunood at pakikinig. Thank you so much.